Welcome back to the Balance Sheet, the world's premier podcast about women's wrestling. I'm one of your co-hosts, King Ajar.
What's up, everyone? I'm Billy.
We have a lot to cover. We're going to get right into it. This week's episode, as always, is presented to you by the Strong Coffee Company, the makers of the best, healthiest coffee on the market. Right now, if you would like to try out their wonderful products, please use the code BSWomen to get 30% off your first order. With that being said, let's get right into it. Sunday night, San Jose, California, Forbidden Door, a match that my co host legitimately said 2 months ago is the dream match he wanted to see
Yep.
at some point this year. He had a whole booking around it. This is how it happens. This is who returns. Well, it didn't happen the way he wanted it.
Not at all. Bigger.
But I'm going to be honest here. I think it was better than the way you wanted
A
it to
million
happen.
times. Oh, yes.
So, before I give it to you for your long form kind of essay on what you loved about the match, why you loved the match, you have gone on record on your X account at BBB Facts Only that it's a five-star match for you. So, we're going to
Yep.
get your perspective on it. Let me give everybody kind of the Cliff Notes rundown of this match. It was for the finals of the Owen Hart tournament. Mercedes Moné, who is the defending Owen Hart tournament champion from 2025, against Maya World, who is literally catching lightning in the proverbial bottle. She came out of nowhere. She was not actually, both women were never scheduled to be into this tournament from the
Right.
beginning, right? So Maya World, she comes out of nowhere. She gets a people say upset victory over Sky Blue. I didn't think it was an upset, but okay, it is. Then obviously a huge upset in beating Athena, which is like an oh my God moment for her beating her teacher. And now, it's the final boss. The final boss is Mercedes Moné. Mercedes Moné is her hero. Mercedes Moné is the reason she wanted to become a professional wrestler. She liked wrestling, she watched wrestling, but when she saw Mercedes Moné, at that time known as Sasha Banks, she said, "Okay, you know what? I want to do this." And if you know Maya World's history and if you followed her account, she's a loyal crew member, as they say. She is crew to the nth degree, from hating on Charlotte Flair to hating on Becky Lynch to getting mad at how WWE books her to wanting her, in the irony of ironies, to leave WWE so she could be booked better. And funny enough, the one of the biggest beneficiaries of that is her.
Hmm.
So this match was the second longest AEW women's match of all time, slightly behind Tony Storm and Mercedes Moné from last year. And this match checks every single box on why people do love the genre of professional wrestling. We are specialists, we love women's wrestling, but even male or female, this match is gender agnostic. It's just a great professional wrestling match. They had all the highs, they had all the lows. They had a little bit of even wardrobe malfunctions. They had a little bit of have to call it on the fly and do an ad lib. They had so many um oh no, oh my goodness, I can't believe they're doing that moments in this match. Right? This match was fantastic. This is I could make the case. This is no, I'm going to make the case, and I'm going to give it to you. I think this is the best women's match in AEW history. And I think it's it's in the neighborhood of the matches that I personally tout as all-time great matches for different
Yep.
reasons. And I'm going to give you the opportunity to discuss this at length. But like, I think what we make a big mistake of is comparing wrestling match A to wrestling match B and say, oh, well, it wasn't as good as this. They're all their own individual movies. And sometimes you
Hmm.
can't compare movies to each other because, Like, and I'm going to give you an example, and I'm not putting words in your mouth. This is my opinion of the situation, and I'm going to hand it over to you. I looked at last year's WrestleMania three-way match, right? To me personally, that match meant a lot to me. It was my favorite, getting her big moment, beating the two women faces of the company, although maybe I had the two faces wrong, and maybe she was one of them to begin with. But that match hit every note for me. And everybody looked at that as a technical marvel, like the perfect new age women's wrestling match. They did spot after spot after spot, and they didn't miss and they didn't make a mistake and they hit everything. But there are people who the match felt like the greatest choreographed match of all time, but they didn't emotionally connect with the match the way people have connected with this match, right? Everybody seems to have a connection to this match in a different way. Not saying that people think, oh, well, this match is just better. No, because one is totally different than the other, right? Like Mercedes and Maya didn't go out there and say, hey, we're going to hit every single move and we're going to not miss and we're going to hit it and clean. They said, we're going to go out there and tell a different story. The underdog fighting the Goliath, and the underdog, you think they're out, they come back, they aren't out, they come back, they aren't out, and then finally at the end they give up. And so I feel like from what I have read on my timeline, from the Mercedes Moné diehards, the ones who live and die with her wrestling performances, you're in that group. It hit notes for them that I have not seen since Brooklyn. Now, Bianca Sasha hit notes, but I think that's a history note, not necessarily an emotional note. Because if we're
Yeah.
being honest, nobody on earth thought Sasha Banks was going to beat Bianca Belair. Nobody thought.
Right.
This match going into it was a 50, it was kind of a toss up, right? Like even the odds weren't that much in Mercedes' favor. So, my opinion of the match is it's simply put, I think it's the best women's match I have ever seen out of AEW. And it's in the discussion of one of the best women's matches of all time for simply the story and emotion it told. I don't think, me personally, it's the best women's wrestling match from an execution standpoint. But I think from a storyline standpoint and an emotion standpoint and the commentators and the crowd and the way people reacted, it's in the discussion. So that's my quick Sports Center review on the match. Now I'm going to give it to you, Michael Wilbon or Kornheiser or whoever, to give us your kind of, you were there, you saw it live. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so you did hit on a couple things, and we didn't talk about this. We both were late this week because of things we both had to do. But you actually hit on some things I'm going to talk about, which lets me know I really feel like I'm in the neighborhood. And I've had 4 days to think about this match, a lot longer than we usually have to review a pay-per-view match. Um, and I've spent the 4 days. It was pretty immediate why I love the match, right? You said it. Crew. Mercedes is my favorite wrestler. Maya World was a dream match of mine. I thought they'd have like a cute little 11-minute match where like Maya rolls her up on Dynamite and like Mercedes spirals, right? That was my booking idea. I would have never bet that they would get a pay-per-view match, um, let alone a pretty big one like Forbidden Door. So I don't need, so where to start? Yes, this is the best women's match in AEW history. I think it holds up um, long term, and I'll talk about why. Um, I think it's so very classic, and I think it will resonate with a wider range of wrestling fans than most any match you'll see men or women in AEW, right? AEW has a type of match. Mercedes Moné has a type of match, right? Like people, Seth Rollins has a type of match. Like everyone has their style. This had parts of Mercedes style, but I really think that the way the match unfolded got into the most mainstream lane that wrestling can occupy. And I think that's why it resonated with so many people. What's the craziest thing about it It's my favorite match that's happened since we've started this podcast 2 years ago. I don't know, like you said it. Do I think it's a better match than Mercedes Hazuki won? I don't know. Do I like it more? Is it my favorite match over that match? Yes, it is. I've watched it every day since it happened. I've shown people who don't watch wrestling and they loved it. Movies. We live in a day and age of unoriginality. Sequels, franchises, rebooted a third time franchises. There's so much unoriginality in movies. There's unoriginality in wrestling, right? A lot of things have been done before. A lot of nachos have get reheated. Um, this, now with AI involved, it feels like writing in general just becomes more and more unoriginal. Tongue in cheek, WWE is using AI for some of their stuff, and it shows. This is one of the most original pieces of art, if you look at wrestling that way, of any match that I've ever seen in my life. And there's a confluence of events that allowed that to happen that's very, very special that I don't think you could ever replicate again. And I'm not trying to be crazy on the hyperbole. I don't think you could ever replicate this match again and it would work the same. Because if you tried to do it the same, it would feel forced and unnatural. But everything about this was natural. It wasn't a perfect match by any means. It was imperfect at times. But you have Maya World, who is an A plus blue chip talent, but also, from what we've seen of her, doggedly chasing her dream, right? She don't have one foot in, she's got both feet in. And she's willing to put her chin out there. She's trained by Athena, right? She bumps her ass off. She's a Mercedes fan growing up. She's not afraid, to coin a phrase, she's not afraid she was born to do this, right? Then you have Mercedes at this time in her career, the most confident ring general she's ever been in her career, right? She's ascended to a level of ring generalship even above what she was in WWE. You can't even replicate this match with these two women because it'll never be the same again. Maya will never be as green as she was on Sunday, right? But I just want to kind of the way I see the match. Maya comes out. They play a beautiful video package. The crowd at home, we understand that her brother passed away a couple weeks ago tragically. Um, and the story is a strong one. It's real. Wrestling's not real, but it's real that she had to pull herself up by her bootstraps and she decided to wrestle, 3, 4 days after he passed away. That's real toughness. That's real emotion. So the crowd's behind her. She's completely unknown, right? Really, to be on this pay-per-view, she's completely unknown. Somebody tweeted, Maya World Mercedes Moné is like a junior in college basketball prospect makes the NBA and immediately has to guard LeBron in game 7 as their first game. And Maya retweeted it quite literally. She said quite literally. So she gets into the ring, gets up on the turnbuckle. You watch her, she's nervous. Again, she's human. Of course she's nervous. She's doing a couple jump up and down, right? Kind of shake the nerves out. Mercedes comes out. Looks like the star she is. They start the match. Maya and Mercedes trade some taunts. What does Mercedes do? She does the mush face on Maya. What's that a callback to?
Bailey.
No,
Oh, no,
WrestleMania 37.
37.
When Bianca was about to cry her eyes out, she did the come on, let's go. They do a tie up, they get into the corner, and Mercedes, as Sasha at the time, just mushes her face and hair, kind of like annoying little piss her off tactic. And Bianca was locked in from that second forward, right? So kind of does that with Maya. And they go into some, where Maya's kind of doing some of the Sasha Banks repertoire. They're doing some pinning combinations, pretty crisp. And then Maya does a flip to the outside, and that's where one of the straps on her gear breaks. When I say that this match could never be replicated again, if they were scheduled for 11 minutes or 15 minutes or 18 minutes and the wardrobe gear malfunction happened and there may have been an issue with the wig too. I haven't, people are saying that. I don't see that 100% on TV. Maya kind of holds the top of her head selling a lot too. So I don't know. Let's just say whatever, she was fighting through. Again, of course she was fighting through nerves. Of course she was fighting through um, a couple missteps. She's human. It was endearing. In this crowd, it was endearing. It worked. It wouldn't have worked if it was a 12-minute match. It wouldn't have worked if it was a 16-minute match. Because ultimately, by the time they started getting the gear going, the pace of the match going, you would have felt like, dang, I wish the beginning wasn't so kind of stop and go. So they roll Maya out of the ring, and this is where Mercedes comes in. I don't think there's a wrestler in the world that would have played that moment as good as her. The mixture of her comedy act that she hones so perfectly with Bailey and being a cocky heel was perfectly done here. She does the 10 count with the crowd, but so as not to have the crowd on her side, what does she do? She drops Maya to the floor again and then she flips everybody off. So, there's a rope slip, there's a couple clunky pinning combos, there's the power bomb spot. It all worked like a struggle because, again, this was a very human performance. I thought of Rocky, the first Rocky movie. Rocky was, if you've never seen the movie, I know, we got a younger audience. Rocky, Rocky's not a good boxer in the first movie. He's not a good boxer. And I'm not saying Maya's not good, but like his superpower was he would not back down. He would not back down. And so the longer this match went, all of those things that could have been seen as, negatives, it was just Maya continuing to pick herself up, self up off the ground and go and try to beat her idol. And it built and it built and it built. And so then they do the power bomb spot, where she can't quite get her up. So Mercedes drops, throws her into the corner, and then does the sunset buckle bomb that Bailey's homage. From that spot forward, I think it's 7 minutes till the match ends. It is my favorite 7 minute stretch in wrestling history. Seriously. Brooklyn probably has my favorite, minute and a half stretch, right? The end. Certainly the last 30 seconds. But that 7 minutes, they lock into this top shelf level of wrestling with the both of them hitting every move clean pretty much from then on, telling the story perfectly from then on, working the crowd into a frenzy, a white noise frenzy, not chanting, not let's go Maya CEO, but just yelling and emoting and elating. And then Tony Schiavone, Excalibur, Nigel, and Walker Stewart literally dropping the act essentially and cheering for Maya to break the hold. we could have never written this. I know Maya and Mercedes worked really hard on this match, and what they put into it really shined, but what they didn't plan also made it that much better because of the way they handled it and the way that they kept it together. They kept it on the tracks. And then the fact that they hit this dead sprint at the end, that the submissions back and forth and Maya's selling, sold the statement maker at the very top level it can be sold better than Bailey sells it. Only Charlotte sells it as well as Maya sold it, you know. And I just think that everything that happened in that match, good and bad, planned and unplanned, creates an original masterpiece that they could, I'd love to see him wrestle next year and Maya wins. And it might be a cleaner match, right? Maya's got a cleaner match, and her and Mercedes matches are very often very clean, you know? Um, it'll be hard pressed to be better emotionally. Um, I wouldn't put it past them, but it won't be the same. And I couldn't go to bed, right? Everyone who listens knows I got a baby. We're not sleeping a lot. So he slept. He's asleep. When he's asleep, we gotta sleep. Like he's sleeping, I gotta sleep. I couldn't sleep. I was I was as charged up as I'd been for any match. And the last thing, that I kind of want to add on from what they planned, something that I noticed, this match is an homage to Sasha Banks specifically. All of the spots that were callbacks were Sasha Banks spots. And most of the offense that Mercedes beat Maya with is stuff she's added since AEW. You got the Meteoras and stuff, which are never going to go away, but like a lot of her move set that's AEW and indie driven is what she beat Maya with. And Maya used a lot of Sasha Banks stuff against her. I mean, I went through that whole thing, and the spots matter less to me than the match, but it is that last 7 minute stretch. You have the Sasha Banks Asuka power bomb spot to the outside that Sasha gave Asuka before. Maya hit it just as smooth as Mercedes did at the time. And I'm gonna say it, man. Mercedes is a G. She don't got to be taking bumps like that to get Maya over. She didn't take any hesitation on that. She took that thing as fast as you can take it, and it's part of what got the match into a dead sprint at the end there. I mean, I will watch this match for the rest of my life and enjoy it. This is the best compliment I can give it. When I want to be inspired by wrestling, I'll watch this match.
Yeah, I mean that's the sentiment I got. So let me tell my side of the story. I've been traveling, I was in Vegas. I came back. I went to a wedding in St. Petersburg. I went to my mom's birthday in Orlando, so I drove Orlando to St. Petersburg. They had a wedding pre-reception, but the wedding was Monday morning at 7:30. So the pre-reception, anybody knows anything about Indian weddings are very Indian weddings have better production value than wrestling, like than AEW. Seriously. Like India, and Tony Khan would know this, being, of that persuasion. Indian, Pakistani weddings, they're massive events. So we have this event from 7 o'clock at night to midnight, and then we have to get ready for the wedding, which I was in at 7:30 in the morning, and I got to drive 40 minutes from St. Petersburg to Tampa to get there. Okay. So I don't have too much of a window to watch this match. I watched the NXT match on my phone at my table, kind of hidden like this. But because I have my AEW, I have to do it on VPN. I only have it set up on my iPad. So I had to be back in my hotel room to watch this. So now it's 12:30 at night. I don't know if it's 12:30. Remember, I'm on Eastern time now, right? I'm not on Mountain time. So it could even been later. I don't remember. I just remember having like in my room just watching the match like this. And I was like, oh, is she gonna win this match? Like, is Maya World gonna win this match? Like, is she actually gonna pull it off? And so I wonder if I would have been better served just skipping out on the reception, watching it live, and then going back. But I will say I still felt this. I felt a lot of the emotion of the match that the people who watched it, like yourself, live felt. And again, this is why wrestling is a really cool art form because the thing I noticed is that again, I'm not comparing these two matches, but I'm talking kind of the differentiation I've seen is if you go back to that WrestleMania three-way, it was just like a perfect execute. Like it was just a perfect match, right? Like they didn't have any screw ups. It was just great. And those three women are at the top of the game athletically, and they could just do stuff, and they did everything. But I did notice like a lot of people didn't like they felt the last couple of minutes at the end, like when they did the whole sequencing with the kiss of death and the riptide and all that. But I know people were like, it was like, so I'm gonna give you a music analogy and I'm gonna see if this one works. So a lot of people, their favorite Notorious B.I.G. song is Juicy. Juicy probably wouldn't even if I were to write down on a piece of paper my top 25 Biggie songs, I don't know if Juicy would make my top 10. Like it might be 15, 19, 22, right?
Hmm.
I know everybody loves that song because of the emotion, but it's technically, in my opinion, maybe one of his worst songs. Like he's not really mechanically great. He's not compared to what he is and capable of. Like I'm more of a who shot you guy, or I'm a kick in the door guy, or I'm a 10 crack commandments guy, or I'm an unbelievable guy, or a long kiss goodnight. I can go on and on. My point is most people like Juicy because of the emotion the song gives them, where they're like, well, I love the struggle. Grew up poor, high school dropout, now I'm rich. I love that struggle. The other stuff, they're like, okay, he's just the most gifted rapper of all time, but I didn't connect with it the way I connected with Juicy. That's how I look at this wrestling match, which is people have connected with this match to a degree I haven't seen in a long time. But there have been, in my opinion, better wrestled women's matches since we have been on the air, in my opinion. I'm not saying that people should like this match any less because of that. I'm just giving my opinion on it. That I think since we've been recording this, there have been better wrestled women's matches. But what I cannot deny is I don't think any match since we've been on the air has had the reaction live. Because I went back after I watched, I went back and I read everybody's. I was like, okay, let me see what everybody's saying about this. And it's like so many people listen to the show. Thank you for that. So many people who we interact with, they were just like writing essays about this match. And then I went on YouTube and then okay, let me look at what YouTube has to say. Oh my God, they loved it. We'll talk about them in a sec. The two kind of most popular people doing this podcasting for wrestling, well, one of them really loved the match, the other one kind of didn't. But I'm like, man, this is like a universal, everybody loves this match. And then they're admitting up front, like, yeah, it wasn't perfect, but it was my perfect, right? It
Hmm.
wasn't perfect, but that's why people thought it was perfect because the imperfections made to a lot of people this match perfect because it didn't feel like a crisp, choreographed routine. And maybe they set out to do a different match and they had to pivot. Who knows? So here's my perspective, and I want you to retort because I know you have probably a strong opinion on what I'm about to say. And I have not said this to you, but I'm going to say it. So let's take a step back here. This match was never planned, right? Because Mercedes was never in this tournament, and neither was Maya World. Am I
Correct. Yep.
accurate?
100%.
Okay. So now they both come into it. Mercedes comes into it first because she's, they don't have Tony Storm. They need somebody to jump because once they knew Saray was gone, they needed something on the other. I know Saray's on the other side of the bracket, but they needed something, to draw people. Now Maya World comes in. She has the tragedy with her brother. It's just an awful, awful thing. And so now you start to think they keep talking about Maya's story. So she beats Sky Blue. She's not going to beat Athena though, because everybody wants this Mercedes Athena rematch, and I'll talk about that here in a sec. So she beats Athena. Now we have the finals, and now people are legitimately like, well, what are they going to do? Are they going to actually let Maya go all the way? Here's my opinion on this. When I watched this match live, not live like everybody else did, but when I watched it, no spoilers, didn't know what happened, didn't look at your phone, didn't look at my phone, didn't see anything, you didn't type anything to me. So I appreciate that. I watched it. You know what I said? Maya should have won. I was really mad she didn't win, and I'll tell you why. The reason I know that Tony knows deep down he screwed up is because Athena cut the promo right after. And Athena cuts the promo saying, "Oh, my students are losers," or whatever she said. And it's like, "Oh, so you're telling me now, Tony, that you're going to give us she beats Athena and she wins the ROH title." And that's the here, damn. Okay, I know you guys really wanted Maya to maybe win this tournament, but I'm not going to give you that. I'm going to give you this. And I got to be honest about this. I don't think beating Athena to me is a big deal because I don't look at Athena as a big deal. I don't think she's anything more than a very high-end mechanic. She has no charisma. And to me, I thought the opportunity to make Maya World this uber star was to beat the uber star of that promotion on the women's side other than Tony Storm. And the reason I feel like Maya should have won is because if Mercedes was the plan from original, like the plan was Mercedes is going to win this thing, she's going to go fight Tekla. That's my plan. Whoever she beats, I don't really care. It's Mercedes. I can accept the decision. I can totally accept Mercedes winning this. But what I cannot accept is he did not have Mercedes winning it. He didn't even have her in the tournament. So now when you have a chance to make a new star, and I know everybody says, oh, Maya's made, she's a made woman, we need her more on AEW TV, she's great, and she is all those things. But how many times have we seen in the history of professional wrestling that they don't pull the trigger on a star making moment and they never get it back? They never get it back, right? And to me, I'm not saying Mercedes, to me, honest, I think this match was great no matter who won. Like, I'm not saying that because Maya didn't win, I like it less. No, the match was great, and I agree with you. I think the last 5 to 7 minutes were as incredible a roller coaster ride as I have seen in wrestling in a long time. Like, I was like, oh, 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 like this was me. Like, I'm watching it on my iPad. I'm like, oh my God, oh, 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 kick. And then the commentators got sucked me in, like, kick out Maya. Come on.
Use your right leg. Yeah, like
They
tone it.
reminded me of, I'll tell you what one moment it reminded me of. It popped right in my head. Undertaker Jeff Hardy Monday Night Raw ladder match.
Yeah.
Where Undertaker is down and Jim Ross is like, kid, make yourself a star. Go up, climb the damn ladder, get the title, right? That's what I was thinking about. And I'm like, oh my God, make Maya win. Just make her win so I can yell and scream and wake people up in this hotel. Just do it. I was like, Tony, do you have the guts? Do you have the guts to pull the trigger? And you know what? He didn't have the guts. And I'm very disappointed because the story that they told, if Maya won, oh my goodness. Like that is like the great like I literally could make a case if Maya won. That is the all-time star-making match for a woman. Like all time if she won the match. Because what I am concerned about is the Ring of Honor title to me is a complete downgrade from even having a match with Tekla at whatever it's all in. So I'm not again, I want to be very clear here. I am not saying anything bad about this match. I am not taking a mark away. I'm not doing the stupid Dave and Brian. Oh well, if Maya won, I'd have given it more. No, 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 no. None of that. This match is going to get the same rating for me whether Mercedes won or Maya won. I'm just saying the way the story was told and the way I was watching it and the way I was immersing myself in this product, if Maya won, I just think I would have been so much happier.
Yeah.
Like I would have been so much happier.
Yeah, I get it. I'm not going to retort and disagree with you because the story was told so well that like, in my subconscious when Maya's going to the ropes, I wanted her to get to the ropes. When Mercedes gets her in the roll-up pin and then Maya turns it into a roll-up of her own or a side cradle of her own, uh, you know, in that moment, if you pause it after the one count, I mean, in my mind, I'm like, hey, do you want the referee to make it to three here? Like, I probably could have been convinced because it would have been a beautiful moment. I think one mistake was made. I think it's fine that Mercedes won. I think that Tony did show a little bit that he is real quick before I say what's wrong. The fact that he sent them out there with someone who's never been on a pay-per-view and he trusted Mercedes and Maya to do I'm going to say they probably had 23 minutes and it was 25 because of the delay in the middle, but they certainly were allowed to be, 22 plus. Um, the fact that that was a, the plan, I think that took a lot of guts from Tony and it made the match be able to be what it was. What shows that he's newer as a promoter. Okay, Mercedes won. We needed the music cut and we needed Maya to get a standing ovation. If they would have cut the music and had her get up slowly, we would have got a standing ovation from the crowd. If you recall,
Unstoppable.
Unstoppable, what they did with Becky, right? Like that would have been a big moment. I saw Danny from Detroit, note the same thing on Twitter, that was kind of a miss for him. Here's my retort. Okay, Maya didn't win. I showed this match to a colleague of mine who grew up in North Carolina, Flair country, has family members that waited on Ric Flair in restaurants and all that stuff, says he's the biggest asshole on the planet. Whole other story. So hates Ric Flair, hates Charlotte Flair because Ric Flair was like bad people to him growing up. But anyway, I showed him the match and he said, you'll have to let me know when the rematch is because I want to see Maya World beat her. And I said, well, it won't be anytime soon. He said, why would, and it just again, we're just talking water cooler. He goes, well, like do a big event next year. It could be the match. I said, I mean, if it were me, that's what I would do, right? That would be the double or nothing match or the all-in match next year. Um, I would have Mercedes versus Maya and Maya go over. Uh, I agree with you that if he doesn't book Maya well over the next 9 months, it will dissipate, right? Not dissipate permanently. This current momentum will dissipate, and they'll have to re um, boost her, you know? But I get it. I do get it. Guy, maybe Mercedes would agree with you, right? If you were able to pause Zach Morris style and pull Mercedes aside based on the frenzy that crowd was in and say, should we change the end? Maybe she'd agree with you because I mean, you just it was a special moment. It was
Yeah, again, I was really frustrated with the Athena promo after. I hated the promo. I thought it sucked.
because you knew that it was Tony admitting,
Yeah.
hey, we really built this girl up. I don't want you to feel bad. She's got a great thing coming for her.
Yeah, and I don't look at beating Athena, who she's already beaten by the way, for a title. And again, I don't we don't do that on the show, but like I don't
It is
care
a
that
world title.
but she's held I understand it's a world title and I know she's held it for 7,000 days, but it's not Roman Reigns. Like they're trying to say Athena is like Roman Reigns and holding the belt for 4 years and then finally losing, it's going to be like Cody Rhodes and and I don't look at it that way. I think Athena is holding a belt that he keeps behind a paywall because if Athena was the star that everybody on Twitter tells me she is, Tony would have put her in some big spots. He's already given Maya more big spots than he has given Athena. And I think it's because
Oh, she
Tony,
did win the Casino Gauntlet last year
yeah,
at
but
All In.
I think Tony knows that Athena has a ceiling that she's already hit, and she's a really good mechanic. But there's no real money. And where I got frustrated with Athena's promo, and I know she's not the one who did it, like they're telling her to go do it, is okay, can I just enjoy this performance? Do I need to hear you run her down in
I,
like
I,
20 seconds?
I completely agree with that. The promo could have been on social media later, and it would have been a much better moment to just have the music cut out and have the people. At worst, you would have gotten a golf clap. At best, they would have erupted for her, and they probably would have erupted for her. Real quick, because we do have a lot to cover. Um, I don't want to say this to come across as negative towards Maya. If this is your first episode listening, I've been touting Maya as the best prospect in wrestling for like over a year. But she's 23 and that was her first pay-per-view match. And this is going to sound negative towards Maya and Tekla, who we're going to talk about her match next. The concern is Tekla is not Mercedes. And if this was Tekla and Maya and some of the missteps occurred, it would we can't not give Mercedes the props for the mastery of the squared circle that she showed with the greenest opponent she'll ever have a 25-minute pay-per-view match against. Like, like if you would have told me last week that they were going to go 25 minutes, I would have told you that you've lost your mind. Not because I wouldn't have wanted to see it, but like they told Maya, they're like, "Hey, you're swimming in the deepest water possible."
Well,
That's the second longest match in women in AEW history, women. Um, One-on-one singles matches, non let's take non-Iron Woman out because as you always say, I mean that as it's that's timed, right? Are there five matches between WWE, TNA, and AEW in women's history on TV longer than that match one-on-one?
Becky Charlotte,
Okay,
SmackDown, um, Io Rhea, the Evolution match.
right.
Well, okay, I have to throw Naomi in there, but yeah, that match is longer. Charlotte Rhea, WrestleMania,
Okay.
that one. So that's three. Do you,
Bailey, Sasha, Hell in a Cell was 26 minutes, I feel like. Does that sound
yeah,
right?
it's in that range. Becky and Sasha was less. What do you, okay, there's a,
Boom. My World's Wrestling, Julia Hart on Collision tomorrow. We're
yeah, she's wrestling on Collision.
eh, she's gonna win.
Yeah, she's wrestling on Collision. Okay, there's another match that I am totally missing here. Um, it might be a Mercedes, it might be a Sasha Banks. Okay. Oh, I got it. Sasha Banks. Oh my goodness, hold on. Oh my goodness. No, 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 not Sasha Banks. A Becky Charlotte Last Woman Standing is longer.
Yeah. Yeah,
That
so
so
I mean, but I mean 10 matches at most.
yeah.
Brooklyn is a 16-minute match. 25 minutes is long. Um I emoted because we are recording on Wednesday night. Dynamite's happening in the background. Spoiler alert, do you know who the new TBS champion is? The match just ended. Uh
Okay, give me who the six are in there.
Harley, Queen
Yeah.
Aminata,
Hmm.
Micah, she won the
Hmm.
match against Sky Blue, right? Sheeta, Chris, and Persephone.
Persephone.
Nope,
Okay. Sheeta.
Sheeta.
Okay.
The order went Harley lost first, Aminata lost next, Then no. Harley, Micah, Aminata, Persephone, Chris, and then Sheeta won. So Sheeta pinned Chris last. She's the new TBS champion. Seemed like a good match. I don't have the sound on. Um, Speaking of good matches, AEW. So again, my favorite match ever, but happening in reverse order going into it. The women of AEW had already had a good night, and it was on the table that Mercedes and Maya have not the best match of the night and maybe the worst match of the night. And not because it would have been bad, but the other matches were pretty good. So Micah got into that survival of the fittest match by beating Sky Blue. It was a good match. I think cage match, it's in the 6-5 range. But a lot of people on Twitter like, did Sky get better? Which I've been saying for a while. So you're welcome. It's fine. Like it's good. Um, Divine Dominion beat Olympia and Thunder Rosa. I really liked this match. I think this was one of the better AEW women's tag matches ever. And Divine Dominion is like one of my favorite tag teams ever now. They're just everything about them rocks for me. I love the way they wrestle. I love their attitude. I love the way yeah, just the whole package works for me. Um that was a really good match. And I'll give you say if you want to talk about the first two matches, if you want to add anything, but that was a good match. Tekla Starlight Kid was certainly somewhere between a four and if you really loved it, if someone told me they put it at 4.75, I wouldn't think they were the craziest person on the planet. It was a very good match.
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
had
the
it 4.25, 4.5, but like yeah,
I think the first two matches were what they were. Like
yeah,
I got to be honest, like the Sky Blue Micah match was okay. Like I'm not gonna watch that thing again. Like I'm not gonna go out of my way to see it again. But I thought it was a good warm up match. The tag match was good, even though nobody actually thought that Olympia and Thunder Rosa were winning. It was a good match for what it was. Like they got some stuff in. Divine Dominion is the strong, team. They should continue to hold the belts because they're gonna lose it in England to the Brawling Brutes. We know that. So
do you feel like Olympia might be getting a two-way pretty soon because they let her get offense more than anyone.
I could see that. I mean, I think that she's a good piece to the roster, and I don't see why you wouldn't want to like sign her, especially, with AAA getting hot. You wanna tap into CML, which is actually right now the hottest wrestling promotion in the world. Right?
Yeah.
CML's the hottest. So but let's talk about Thekla and Starlight Kid. So Thekla Starlight Kid was awesome. Like I loved this match as well. This was a really hard-hitting Joshi stardom type of match, right? Thekla, that's how she works. Starlight Kid is one of the people I had on my list as top up and coming prospects. She's fantastic. Um, Again, what I don't understand about this story is what's the payoff for stardom? Like, what's the payoff, right?
Yeah.
Like, Thekla has done everything to stardom, and you've buried a promotion that has been the beacon for women's wrestling long before, the NXT Black and Gold brand. And I didn't understand the story. I don't understand it at all. But nonetheless, this match was really good. Thekla has really improved. She's phenomenal on the microphone. She's a great character. She knows how to play her role very well. Starlight Kid is awesome. I think taking her mask off and then wearing it at the post scrum was a great touch. And again, why I wanted Maya World to win so badly is I want to hate Thekla, and it's so much easier to hate her if Maya World is the opponent. Mercedes is a heel to me. Everything she does is heelish. Her promos are heelish. She's rich, she's gorgeous, she's obnoxious, she's great in the ring. And Thekla is kind of the same. Like Thekla is really, she's really good looking. She's wins all the time and she throws money at people. Like again, maybe they have 2 months to get me to believe into this story, and maybe the rumors are true that Willow comes back, beats Thekla to fight Mercedes at All In. I think that's ludicrous. Like I think that Thekla, who they have built up so long, not being on All in the title match is ridiculous. Like if they did that, I would be like, oh, so you really have no plan, Tony, because you made Mercedes win the tournament. Great. So let her get the match with Thekla and figure out a story to make me care about it. But back to the match. This was good. Like I have no complaints about the match. Yeah, I think 4.425 is a really good rating for it. Me personally, we'll talk about NXT in a sec. I like the NXT match better than I like this match personally, but that's probably because I like the two women in the NXT match more than I like these two women, although I love Starlight Kid. Um, I thought both, I think Thekla, to her credit, has found her character, and I think she's the new Tony Storm. Like she's the new Tony Khan creation that has worked. Tony Storm was Britt Baker was the original. Then it was Tony Storm. Now it's Thekla. These are the three women who I think he has flushed out a pretty good character out of those three.
Yeah.
Um, I just I don't see this. I don't know what the story is with the Stardom thing, but I like this match a lot.
Yeah, there's a couple pitfalls on the Tekla thing with All In. I don't disagree with you that her work has been so good she deserves the match. Kind of getting Asuka would not be good, right? You know, kind of would feel like when Asuka lost the belt right before 35. That being said, it is enticing to do the Willow Mercedes match because it would be a true coin flip. Would you agree with that? Because Willow would be on her first title reign, it would be 30 days.
Mhm.
So is Tony really only going to give Willow a 30-day reign to start? Or is Tony really going to have Mercedes fail to win the title for a third time, right? So for those reasons, it's kind of up in the air. I would presume that if Tekla goes in and she does wrestle Mercedes, we're looking like 1,000 to 1 odds that Mercedes, like Mercedes is winning the title
I think she's gonna lose.
to Tekla.
Yeah, I do. But again, I this is my prediction. July 1st, happy Canada Day to everybody today. By August 30th, I could change.
Yeah.
The reason I think Thekla is going to win is because I think Mercedes is going to win the belt as a babyface. I I think if she's going to win the belt as a heel, she has to beat a clean babyface. Thekla is far from a babyface. And
So, real quick, you don't think that Mercedes could be made baby within the next 2 months?
made baby in terms of crowd reaction, in terms of
Her
character.
crowd reactions are as good as she's gotten ever in AEW. She's going to get a great crowd reaction in Wembley. Like, okay, so this is literally off the cuff. Match graphic just came up. Maya World, Julia Hart. Maya wins the match.
Mhm,
Okay. Julia, Sky, and Tekla beat the crap out of Maya.
mhm.
Mercedes saves her. Isn't that the start of a face turn?
Yep. Let's start fishing. I
Like
agree.
you, like, hey, you know what? I know I beat her up on Sunday, but you can't beat her up.
Mhm. Yep. It's or is it when Willow comes back?
Yeah. So I want us, we're about halfway through the show, and I'm just gonna say one last thing on AEW, and then I want to tee you up for NXT and WWE. Or just real quick, Starlight Kid did impress me a lot. I love the what is this stretch muffler submission. I
Mhm.
thought Tekla sold the hell out of it. That was my favorite Tekla match ever. Um, if Tony uses what's available to him well, he can absolutely compete with the women's roster in WWE because he has a very good roster that is his, but having access to Stardom and CLLL gives him pieces that get him closer. I'm not saying it's better. I'm just saying when you can have a match with Starlight Kid, or you could have Hazuki on your show, like there's plenty to work with. And This has been the best month that the AEW women have been booked collectively that I've ever seen, right? We've had Tony and Mariah dominate shows. Those four matches all had time. They were all agented in a way that the crowd responded and reacted to them. Even more so than just last month, right? Athena's match got a poor reaction last month at a paper at Double or Nothing.
Yeah.
Um, they were all agented well, they were all produced well, and the men threw heat, right? All these men's matches, like always, were Zack Sabre Jr., Kenny Omega, freaking Swerve, and Will Ospreay did every overindulgence is a word I think of. But the women stacked up really, really nicely on Sunday. I thought it was the best pay-per-view day ever for the women for AEW collectively.
So I want you to put a pin in your comment about AEW getting close, can compete with WWE, because I have a take on that that might even surprise you later when we talk about EO. But
Okay.
we can't. So I promised two things. We're gonna get to
Oh,
the big story of the week, or we gotta
yeah.
get to the big story of the week. But I have one thing. So I tweeted six names. I tweeted the Notorious B.I.G. I tweeted Jay-Z. I tweeted Michael Jordan. I tweeted Kobe Bryant. I tweeted Minami Toyota, and I tweeted Mercedes Moné. So these six names. So everybody wants to know, what do these six names have in common? And what I'm about to say are the opinions of only me. These are not the opinions that my colleague shares. These are my opinions, and I'm going to give it to everybody. I think Notorious B.I.G. I don't think he has the best rap career. I think he's the greatest rapper of all time. And that's because he got his life got cut short. But at his peak, I think he's the best rapper. I like Jay-Z a lot because he's 95% of what Biggie was. Okay. I think Michael Jordan is the greatest ever. I love Kobe Bryant because Kobe Bryant gave me 95% of Michael Jordan. I think Minami Toyota is the greatest ever. I think Mercedes Moné gives me 95% of what Minami Toyota gave me. And that's the correlation of those six names. Now,
I
that's
knew
just,
that's what you meant, by the way.
yeah, that so
I could
that's
have called that.
that's the that's like the appetizer. But let's get to the big story of the week. So as I was doing wedding stuff and doing my mom's birthday celebration, I come to find out that my co-host got into a little tete-a-tete with our good friend Uncle Dave here, who, by the way, just so everybody knows, we are label mates because both podcasts are actually hosted by RSS. So what I find out is that you responded to him because the clip went viral of him talking about, by the way, he's from San Jose, and he goes to every show in San Jose. He went to this show, he was fourth row. He said that Brian was reviewing the Mercedes Maya match and how awesome it was, and he says, I didn't feel it. I was there live, I didn't feel it. In person, to me, I think more people were talking about Thekla and Starlight Kid. And to which you responded, actually, you know what? Before I tee it back to myself, why don't you read what you said to him for everybody? Let's read exactly what you said to him.
What I said to him once he engaged me, or what I said to
No, no,
get him
no.
to
The
engage me?
first, yeah, the first one that he responded.
Yeah, so our friend of the show, Monet Updates, um, tweeted the video and I
Mhm.
retweeted it. Dave's not tagged, right? Dave's not tagged. I didn't tag Dave. Monet Updates did not tag Dave. But it's the video, and he's just going through his buffoonery of downplaying Mercedes Maya. Well, literally, the whole internet talks about how this is their most favorite match. It, like we've talked about AEW being a negative space for women's wrestling. You got
Mhm.
the whole AEW fandom drooling over a match saying it was incredible. and you disagree, you're wrong. Like Dave's wrong. So I just responded, he just no longer understands, quotes, if he ever did, the human and emotional part of the art form. His 5-star match is the exact script an AI would churn out. Spot, 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 spot. Okay, nailed all the spot, crowd cheer, nailed all the spots, crowd cheered, 5 stars. And if you think I'm stupid, he's gonna give like 19 stars to Osprey Swerve, and that was spot, 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 spot. And the crowd cheered. And like that's his deal. That's his favorite type of match. But like nobody fights the way that Osprey Swerve fought. They don't.
It's when you okay. If I don't know anything about professional wrestling, and obviously I know too much, and I showed Will Ospreay and Sir Strickland, you know what people would say? Oh, that's fake.
Right.
That's fake, right? Because
Yeah.
nobody fights like that, and nobody could fight like that because somebody would be dead if it was actually real, and they did
Yeah.
all that stuff to each other. Okay,
So he
so you
responded. Oh, go
yeah.
ahead.
So what did he say? Well, no, what did he say?
He said, good to see people who have, by the way, when Dave can't debate with you, he just slings insults. Good to see people who have zero idea what they are talking about. Emotional connection is the single biggest thing. Watch the highest rated matches and the fan connection. Moves going nowhere get you nowhere.
Okay, the match that started this whole trend of the way you described spot, 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 crowd cheer, spot, spot. You know what match that is? Will Ospreay Ricochet,
Yeah,
right? Will Ospreay Ricochet was a sequence of gymnastics moves,
right.
right? That's what it was. And I have a -5 emotional connection to that match. It was just two very athletic men who did things that I didn't even think you should do in a wrestling ring because I kind of want more of a fight feel. But again, they did it. And that match changed the way he reviews wrestling matches, right? Because I truly believe the reason the women's triple threat at Mania got 5 stars is because they went out there and said, we're going to do our best Will Ospreay impersonation. And that's what they did, right? Like, but they had more emotion and story tied into it, but they did that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get back to this. So,
I wouldn't insult those women. They're all better wrestlers than Will
yeah,
Ospreay,
what I
but
don't understand is everything you said, he says you don't know what you're talking about. That's the number one thing. And then he proceeds to tell me that maybe the NXT women's match is better than Mercedes and Maya, which I like Kendall Gray more as a wrestler. I'm not saying she's better than Maya. I definitely like Lola Vice more than I like Maya, and Lola Vice is one of my favorites. But I watched that match for what it was. It was a good wrestling match. Like
and the
they went
crowd
out
wasn't
there.
going crazy for that one.
It wasn't going crazy like the Garden, right? Like the
No, the
match they had
Garden
at
was
the
crazy.
Garden, the Garden was a crazy. Like to me, it was like, oh, okay, they're gonna do every spot to get a certain person who writes about wrestling to like their match. That's what I
Yeah.
saw, right? Like I didn't watch it and be like, I know Lola Vice and Kendall Gray are super talented, and really, they can really both fight, right? Kendall's an amateur wrestler, Lola's a mixed martial artist. So, like, we're not saying that really they couldn't do this because they are really like trained in these things. Back to your back and forth. So, all he does is rate matches that people do not have emotional connections to a lot higher than matches people do have a connection to. Mercedes Athena. We talked about Mercedes Athena. I'm not Athena's biggest fan. I've already said this. He gave that match, I think, a 4.25.
Right.
Everybody on Twitter was emotionally connected to that match, right?
Yeah.
Cage Match rated it very high, I think.
Fourth highest rated until the Maya match. It was the fourth highest rated Mercedes match ever.
There was a tag match on NXT, Io and Jordan Grace against Roxanne and Julia. I think I got 4.5.
Right.
Nobody remember. If I were to tell people what do you remember about the match? The only thing I remember is EO won. I don't remember, and I don't even think EO won. I think Jordan.
You're one of the biggest EO fans on the planet. How many times you watch that match?
I watched it twice simply because I watched it the
Once it
first.
got out the 4 or 5, you had to watch it
Yeah, I
again,
was
right?
like, wait a minute, man, did I miss something about this? So my point is, he said, you don't know what you're talking about, but exactly what you said, he does every week in his Observer. And
So,
this only started with Ricochet Osprey. Again, I have been reading him for a very long time, and I have been reading him longer than a lot of our listeners probably even watch wrestling. So I know that there was a time Maya Mercedes would have gotten 5 stars. You want to know why I know that? Because that match was Mercedes Moné. You ever ducked with this Sasha Banks homage? That's not what Raja saw. What I saw is her Manami Toyota homage, because that's exactly what that match was. And every single Mercedes big match in AEW is an homage to Manami Toyota and the All Japan women. All those women got 5 stars routinely
and you
because
said the matches aren't clean.
they're not clean. I can make the case that every the Io Bianca Rhea match is cleaner than every Manami Toyota match ever.
Yeah.
Cleaner. I didn't say better, cleaner. So where I'm going with this is that he has lost his plot that you said he lost. He got the reason he blocked you is because he was pegged into a corner. He was getting cooked on the app. He was getting cooked in the message boards because people knew that he was lying. He routinely gives matches that have no emotional connection high marks because they're stunt shows, right? Like every spring stampede or what was it called? Block bunkhouse stampede, stadium
Yeah.
stampede. They all get 5.
Right. I So 31,000 people have seen his response to me. 40,000 people saw, what I posted about him. It's the most seen tweet I have. But only 138 people of the 31,000 that saw his tweet liked it. And then my response under it, which you usually don't get a lot of interaction on the response, 2,000 people saw it, 51 liked it. So, a third. Uh, Way less people saw it, but a lot of comments agreeing with me. Here's what I wrote to get blocked. Um, if you've been listening for a while, you guys probably know, like me and Raj don't take this too seriously, like from the point of view of like we're not gonna fight with each other, like or
Yeah.
try to win the argument. We understand we have differing opinions, but man, if a stranger's gonna argue with me and I know I'm right, I'm coming with heat. Like I'm gonna state my case. I was on the debate team in high school. Um, I routinely, win arguments at work. That's how I've gotten the career that I have by stating my case. So I tried to kill him with kindness. Thanks for the reply. I agree. What I meant was I agree with the connection's the most important. Why do you think then that you are so far off from public consensus on Mercedes Maya? That had the best and most sustained emotional reaction from the crowd that wasn't spot or move related. It's the best related match on the show, on Cage Match, and pretty much everyone in the crowd besides you has said it was incredible. And you can't say it's just Mercedes fans because she has never had the highest rated match on an AEW pay-per-view. So why now? Why did this one make it that way unless it resonated? So essentially, that was checkmate. And instead of debating me further, he just blocked me. So it took me 10 years longer than you to get blocked. But yes, this whole show is now blocked by Uncle Dave.
Well, and I think that again, there's no such thing as a perfect rating system.
Right.
If it's the observer, it's a one person opinion. He has a specific style, and now I'm starting to see he has a specific type of woman wrestler he likes. So it's a bias. Cage Match has their own biases, right? Because as you have said, if you're Io Sky or you're Miko Satomura or you're Manami Toyota, you're going to get a 9.5 or above as a wrestler. Mercedes, who you're of the opinion and others share your opinion, should be at least in the same group with those women. Like maybe she's not better to some people, but she should be in the discussion, right? Like she shouldn't be an 8.6 and they're all 9.6s, right? And
Right.
you said, well, even cage match, as much as you like the way it's set up, there's bias there too, right? Because
Yeah.
you can give somebody an 8 and still have a bias towards them,
Right.
right? Right. So
Because your favorite match is a nine, they're close, and you're gonna go just a point under and try
so
to, yeah.
so so let's talk about cage match, right? Because I want to save the EO stuff to at the end, but let's talk about NXT. We have differing opinions on this match. Great American Bash. There was two women's matches. There was Zarya versus Tatum Paxley, which there are a lot of people on Twitter who like that match better than the main event.
I like that match a lot. I don't know if I like it better. I watched them both once, so I'd have to watch them both again. But I
So,
liked it similarly.
so Tatum Paxley versus Zarya. Nobody thought Zarya was going to lose because this is her first title defense, but it was a hard-hitting match. They did some crazy stuff. Tatum Paxley's a hell of a performer.
Tatum's so good. Tatum's really good.
She's a
We
great
probably
performer.
don't give her enough credit for what level of prospect she
Well,
is.
me personally, I have an opinion on why, not you, but the internet doesn't give her the love that she deserves. Is because she has cited Alexa Bliss as her hero, and I believe as she said, "Oh, Bailey's my hero," everybody, "Oh, Tatum Paxley is like this," and I believe because there's a bias there, but Tatum Paxley should be on the main roster, and she should be on the main roster like yesterday. She's that good. Zarya, to her credit, has really come into her own in this
Yeah.
role. She's really good too. This match was excellent. I think it's a great it was a great night for women's wrestling. You had, six really, I think five really good women's matches. Actually, it might have been six. But let's talk about the main event. Kendall Gray challenging Lola Vice for the title. Main event, first ever main event, NXT pay-per-view for the CW. Shawn Michaels put his two aces in the ring, said go out there and have a killer match. They did. Kendall Gray is your new champion. I don't like the decision. I'll be very honest. I think Lola should have kept the belt a little bit longer. I thought Lola was really hot as a champion. She had the ratings. She's hot in AAA. And I just felt like Kendall got it because there was pressure. Like, I truly believe that a writer's opinion of Kendall Gray has helped propel her to get favorable booking because people are human and they pay attention and they want more coverage and they want more praise on their product.
Yeah.
And they know that if you have the biggest voice in the game and you put Kendall Gray on top and give her the belt, you're going to get more coverage. So I think it was a strategic move. I would not have done it, but I really loved this match. I did not like it as much as their first match at the Garden. One of the reasons is I think the crowd was just not as good as the Garden crowd. And number two, I just didn't like the ending. I really thought Lola Vice beating her and Kendall almost coming close and still has to work for it was the better story. But this was a hell of a match. And again, I think you can tell by how people were not emotionally connected to this match the way they were the matches we were talking about because the cage match score for this match I think is like a 8-4 maybe. So,
804, maybe. Eight.
well, well, I haven't checked in a day, but let me see. Well,
I got it.
okay.
Uh, if you had anything else to add?
No.
Um, yeah, so I like the Madison Square Garden match better. It is an 806 based
Okay.
on 119 votes. 8.06. Um, and I always look at this, 9 people gave it a 10, 26 people gave it a 9. So, um, yeah, I like the Madison Square Garden match better. Um, I I'm gonna put my Raj hat on real quick. You ready for this?
Hmm.
I firmly reject the idea that those matches are really good because Kendall is the only special person in the match. I firmly reject that. I think Lola's very, very, very good. And Dave's coverage of Kendall has turned this into a thing where, and if that's why she won, that's not great either. But I think Lola is one of the most improved wrestlers in the world over the last 18 months, call it, because she's been at this level for a minute. Um, Always had the look and the vibe and the energy. Um, Obviously always had the athleticism and physicality with her fighting background, but like the wrestling has really kicked in. So I would have kept the belt on her. Um, Probably not a day we're going to discuss ratings and maybe something we talk about next week, but the counter programming thing is not working.
No.
They got less than 380,000 viewers on this thing. And honestly, you probably got like you might get 3 to 5 thousand people who don't buy AEW because you put this on TV. It's not enough to hurt them. And if you were really think Kendall's going to be a star, put this thing on its own Sunday and have more people see that both Lola and Kendall are stars, right? You're doing a disservice to the talent. I if we ever become a bigger podcast than we currently are, someone's going to pull up tape of me saying that Will Ospreay's not very good that I said 5 minutes ago. Um, Let me just say, Will Ospreay's not for me. I
Hmm.
don't like that type of wrestling. I think Will Ospreay is the best in the world at that type of wrestling, him and Ricochet, but like that's not. I liked what WWE made Ricochet do, truthfully, in some of his matches against like, I don't want to say the guy's name, but like some of the behemoths he had to fight. I like It's a tangent. This match was set up like a Will Ospreay match more than it needed to be. Lola and Kendall are better than that. Everything was counter, 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 counter. And then you had spots just for spots. Like I didn't really get the whole backflip moonsault deal while Lola was on her feet. Like I don't like moves like that where it's like it looked cool, but like what is Kendall trying to do right there is like kind of what I don't get. It wasn't so some of that stuff was just like it's like they did spots to look cool, which is very much a Will Ospreay thing to do. This will look cool.
Yeah.
Um, it's still a very good match. NXT has become the killer factory. Um, Tatum, Lola, Kendall. They debuted Nikki Blackheart, and forgive me, I don't remember what her WWE name is going to be, but they debuted her attacking Tatum uh, on NXT last night. Kalani, I'm a huge fan. I mean, it's just the women are
Yeah.
very, very, very good down there,
Callie
and
Armstrong.
yes, um, can't forget her. So. One thing I do know about Sean, he knows what he has in Kendall. She's going to wrestle a lot. They already have her. She's going to have more title defenses than Liv Morgan by this time next week because
Hmm.
she already has one scheduled against Natty. I'm more excited to watch her wrestle Natty than any match she's had so far because that will start to tell me where she's really at. Lola, Kendall, Kalani, like these women all essentially like live together or near each other and practice daily. Now, Natty works her ass off. I'm not saying her and Kendall don't work out together, but I don't think that they're working out together and rehearsing together at the same level that Lola and Kendall can. And we've been watching Natty wrestle for 2 decades. Um, Kendall's not going to be able to speed Natty up into a Will Ospreay match. So
I have
I'm
a hot.
interested. I'm interested in what it's going to look like. Go ahead.
I think Lola's already a better wrestler than Natty. Me personally. Like I would rather watch
I'm
Phoenix
not disagreeing.
than
That's what
Natty.
I guess what I'm saying is Natty has a style,
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying.
and like you see clips of Natty wrestling Mercedes, and you realize that Natty has a lot more that she's capable of than what WWE lets her show. I will say that, but
Now,
um,
Natty, when I look into my wrestling Webster's dictionary of mechanic, there's a picture of her and there's a picture of Athena. They're together. They
I
are mechanics.
I will I'll just add if Kendall has a really great, fun mat based match with Natty next week, I will totally come on here and give her flowers. because she should be able to, right? She's a wrestler. I would want to see them grapple, like really grapple, like almost like the type of match Natty could have in Bloodsport, right? Like they should grapple 75% of the match. And I think it could be really good. So, yeah, I would have kept the belt on Lola. I don't know what they're going to do with Lola.
Well, I think whatever they do, Lola's a star, and I think she'll be fine. I don't worry
She's going to
about.
be fine, but like, is there a spot for her on Main yet? No. Is she just going to focus on AAA? I think she ain't going to be the champ. She's long past graduated NXT.
Yeah, I think they have to figure out what to do with her, and I have a couple of different ideas, but yeah. So like, I agree that they went out there and had a match, like I said, for an audience of one. When I watched the MSG match, it felt natural.
Yeah.
They went out there and they just had a really good match, and then somebody fell in, somebody got down on their knees and proposed, and then it turned into its own thing. And now, when I watch that match, I'm like, oh, this is Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker. This is Mariah May and Tony Storm. Like they're going for this score. And but it was a really good match, and I love both women. I'm a huge fan, and I'm excited to see what they do with Kendall. And I know I have actually seen the Kendall Natty match. It's out there because it's a taped match.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
I didn't even know.
So it's a tape match. Spoiler alert, if you didn't think this was the ending, you're crazy. Natty didn't win the NXT title. I'll just leave
Are
it
you
at
sure?
yeah, I'm pretty yes. But it sets up. So there's going to be a feud that comes out of this. Out of
Okay.
that match, we know where the next pay-per-view is going. So um yes,
Yeah.
the match is out there. If you can find it, you can go watch it. But I want to talk about main roster WWE.
Yeah, so I want to set it up because Raj told me he felt he had something to say about EO on Sunday morning.
It was Sunday morning. It was
But
Monday
it was
morning.
before the Mercedes Maya match.
It was before the Mercedes Maya match, and then it got reinforced after the Mercedes Maya
You
match.
felt stronger about it.
Yeah, I
So,
did.
we do this to each other. Hey, I got something to talk about. Here's the topic. And excited to, or like I want to get your feedback.
So,
Well, at the time you told me we were supposed to record on Monday. So
yeah.
I've been on a cliffhanger for 4 days on this sucker, and I do really want to hear what you have to say. So let me just set up real quick. Um, Unfortunately, due to time compression and just it is what it is, we're not really going to cover Jade Tiffany. Jade Tiffany had a match on Night of Champions. Um, I really love what Jade's doing, but as we knew, she wasn't going to win this match, and it wasn't a particularly memorable match. So the other women's match on Night of Champions, we had Liv Morgan versus Io Sky in the final for Queen of the Ring, and the winner gets to fight Liv Morgan at SummerSlam. So if Liv Morgan wins, she does her music video in the middle of the ring for SummerSlam or something. I don't know. Um, I'm not gonna talk about how I felt about the match yet. I will just say they had m- they had time. There was probably some crowd issues, I would say. Not just with the women's matches, just the whole card. But EO won and defeated Liv Morgan. And then, kind of a shock, right after, I mean, there's a match graphic, there's a promo. They are wrestling again at SummerSlam. So there's no swerve, there's no Rhea match with EO. We are getting the rematch here. So, EO Sky, you're Queen of the Ring. The floor is yours, my friend.
So before I get to my rant, Ahmad, who has given us info before, he attends all these events in Saudi Arabia in the kingdom. He's a listener. So shout out to him. He told me Io was one of the five most over people in the crowd.
Hmm.
He said it's Obafemi, it was Sami Zayn, it was Io Sky, Cody Rhodes. and I can't remember who the other person was. I think maybe it was no Jay. I think it was Jey Uso or Jey Uso or Rollins, one of those. So Io was very over. It came across like that on TV sometimes, but it didn't come across all the time. That's not my rant. So here's my problem. This weekend we had lots of women's matches to choose from. Okay, we had Sky
Yeah.
Blue Micah, we had the tag match, Divine Dominion, Olympia, Thunder Rosa. That's two. Those are the only two matches, in my opinion, Liv Morgan, Io is better than. It was not better than Thekla, sorry, Starlight Kid.
Charlotte Kid.
It was definitely not better than Maya Mercedes. I'm not going to waste anybody's time. Everybody knows that. It wasn't better than Zaria Tatum, and it wasn't better than Kendall and Lola. So there are four women's matches better than Io Liv. Okay. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt that they're wearing super hot bodysuits in 112-degree weather, but they still got 16 minutes.
Right.
It's not like they got 10 minutes, right? Io Sky in the history of WWE gets more time than any other woman ever. More than Mercedes, more than Sasha Banks, more than Charlotte, more than Becky. Nobody gets more time than Io. So Io gets her time. Every 10 seconds on commentary, I hear Io Sky is the best wrestler in the world. Michael Cole goes on Mike Greenberg's Get Up and says it 50 times. Everybody says it. Cody Rhodes said it on a podcast this morning. Everybody says Io Sky is the best wrestler. And I think she is. But here's my problem. They got to let her be the best wrestler in the world. They cannot tell me she's the best women's wrestler in the world and then go out there and legitimately hinder her and tell her to wrestle this very soft, laid back, fan friendly style. Because if you didn't know anything about Io's, let's say you don't know anything about Io Sky in Japan, the closest we ever got to that version of Io is the Bianca matches, the Rhea matches, the Candice LeRae matches. Io has figured something out, and her husband has said it in the documentary. If you watched it, I did. I watched it on subtitles, and he said Io is right now giving the WWE fans 50% of what she's capable of, but she's making 100 times the money. That legitimately is probably accurate, right? Like she's figured it out. She's gotten the cheat code. I'm over. I'm very over. I know how to get over. I stay over. Kids love me. Everybody loves me. I'm EO, 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 EO. But if you're going to tell me on commentary that she is the best wrestler in the world, male or female, they're not saying she's the best women's wrestler in the world. They're saying she's the best wrestler. Then I need to see them allow her to be the best wrestler. Because I do think she can be and is, but they haven't shown it. They haven't let me see it. Like I have not loved an EO match since the Stephanie Vacour one. Singles. The
September.
Asuka match I think was good, but are you telling me that's the best Asuka and EO could do? I don't believe it. There's no way that that could be the best that they can come up with because they're two of the best women's wrestlers of all time.
Yeah.
I just think the WWE has something in EO where she's very over. She has a style that the kids love and the crowd loves, and she gets cheered. And I think they're just saying, look, third gear, EO, it's all we need. You're over. You're making a lot of money. You know, the
Especially since that neck bump, that that outside the ring one. I mean, is that a turning point on this?
no, I don't think so. I mean, I know if people speculated, I don't think so. It could be the turning point in this sense. The WWE has pulled her aside and said, "Whoa, you're too important to us. So we cannot allow you to do that stuff."
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, okay.
So
Because I think that there's something to hear. And the other thing is we don't know how long Rhea Ripley's out. So without Rhea Ripley, Io is clearly the face of this women's division. Clearly she is the face of this women's division.
right.
And they need her because they're running house shows now. And she's one of the most over acts in the company. And Cody Rhodes says, I like that Io's on house shows with me because I know I don't have to work that hard because Io's there.
Yeah.
I get all that. But you
The,
know what?
the,
As somebody who's been a fan of this woman from 2014 or 2013. I can't remember when I discovered her. It's been a long time. And routinely has said she has a case to be the greatest women's wrestler of all time only because she's been great in both situations. She's been the best in Japan, and she's, in a lot of people's opinion, been the best in the United States. And she's drawn money and she's popular and she has everything to her accolade wise. But if they're going to allow her to be the best, then they got to allow her to be the best. You cannot keep letting her go in third gear. Now, I am going to give them the benefit of the doubt because it was 112 degrees in a hot desert country. But
Yeah.
SummerSlam is in Minneapolis, and I am challenging Io to go out there and have a match with Liv Morgan because I actually think Liv Morgan is very capable if she's given the chance to. I need to see a match like her match with Bianca, like her match with Rhea, like her match with Miko Satomura, like her match with Mayu Iwatani, like her match with Bailey. I need to see that Io Sky
Yeah.
because this version of Io Sky, I'm trying to compare her to something. Trying to compare her to like, you know what it is? It's Novak Djokovic the last 2 years of his career, where Sinner's winning, Alcaraz is winning, Sinner's winning, and then once in a while he'll win the tournament and he'll be the best, and you're like, oh, like Io is like Novak in the like he's having these okay matches, and then in the Olympics when the gold medal's on the line, he became Novak Djokovic, and he showed everybody this is why I'm the best tennis player of all time. I need to see that out of Io in this SummerSlam match with Liv because it is very hard for me to defend Io as the best women's wrestler in the world if Athena, Mercedes, Maya, but forget about AEW women. Let's talk about Japan women, Stardom women, Utami, Saya,
Fury.
Saray. But then let's talk WWE women. This year in 2026, Lola Vice and Kendall Gray have been better wrestlers than Io Sky. Are
Mhm.
they better than her? No. I'm not crazy. I think Io has been the best or at the closest to the best for a long time. But I can only go on what you have done for me lately. And this year, Lola Vice has been a better wrestler than Io Sky. Is Lola Vice more over? No. Is she a better all-time wrestler? No. Nobody thinks Lola Vice is a better wrestler than Io Sky. But this year she has been. And so my rant is I need the WWE to take the chains and the shackles off of her and let her go out there and have the EO matches from 2025. That's all I ask for. Because I get it that she's super over. And I get it, she does make a wishes, and she is the biggest Japanese star ever in America. But I still want my old Io. I don't want her to go heel. Everybody thinks that means go heel. I don't need that. I just need 2025 Io. Rhea
Yeah.
Classic, Bianca Classic, Triple Threat Classic, Naomi Rhea, Stephanie Vakor. That's all I want. This is not Io Sky. So that's my rant to the WWE and to Io herself. Please, just give me the old Io. That's all. Floor is yours.
Yeah, I mean, I actually texted you during the match that, I thought they did some good things in there. I hated the spot where Io stopped to high five the kids, not once, but twice. Um, when she was up on the stanchion. Um, I just felt like, I want my finals matches and my championship matches to feel like you're desperate to win them. And you could say that she's just so confident she's going to beat Liv that she's just going to high five the kids. Um, but I don't think I'm in the minority because my number one takeaway this weekend, you know, going into it, you would have thought, and you essentially just admitted to this, so I'm not breaking any news. Going into the weekend, you would have thought if Io has a great match and Mercedes has a great match, the crew and EO FC are going to be at each other's throats over who's the best. But what ended up happening, and this is before Mercedes even had a match, all of the angst about EO that I saw this weekend was from EOFC. EOFC liked this match against Liv Morgan way less than I liked this match.
Mhm.
I felt that it was received very negatively by her own fans. I think they wanted more. People are very worried that the SummerSlam match, due to storytelling, is going to have plunder and bolt and Judgment Day and interference and all that stuff. And people just want to see EO cook, and I get that. So um, I don't really gotta double down on what you said. Uh, I think that you can't be said any better. If you're going to claim that someone is the best wrestler in the world, you have to let them show their art to its full capacity. I don't think she needs to turn heel, but like she should be so sick of Liv Morgan now after this last beatdown. I don't want to see the the gleeful Queen of the Ring. Like she needs to be very serious. She doesn't need to go heel. She doesn't need to not do her taunt, but I mean she needs to be business. Like if Liv's doing her job as a heel, Io should be business from here forward, right? Like I'm gonna murder you. That's what we want to see.
Yeah,
I beat you, now I'm gonna beat your ass. That's what I want to see.
like the match itself, I actually thought was pretty good. Like I liked it. I think they did some nice things. Um, Again, this is a Joshi thing. Io's getting her leg beat the whole match. All
Selling
the
is so good for that period of time
And
too.
then she does a Spanish fly and then a moonsault in like 12 seconds. Like she does a Spanish fly, gets right up, runs back. And so like this is the thing that it doesn't bother me personally because it's what type of wrestling I like. Like it's Joshi wrestling, but it's little things, right? That people are gonna be like, oh, why didn't you sell the leg more? Like it would have been interesting if Liv, like the way I would have ended this match is if Liv went for the Oblivion and Io did like how she outsmarted Sol Roca. Like if Io did something like that where she was getting beat up the whole match and she slipped on a banana peel and won, but they made Io honestly, they made Io kind of an unstoppable babyface because on Raw, she was getting the better of three women.
Well, that is the issue. Why would we want to see her wrestle Liv Morgan again when Liv actually wrestled a very good match in Saudi Arabia? Had from a kayfabe point of view, she got all her moves off, had EO hurt, had EO limping, and then EO just like hulked out of it, Spanish fly. And you're right. Just I wish she would have sold the leg going up for the moonsault. You just hit a Spanish fly, like you have a couple seconds. Like they could have just had Liv keep selling. Like
And look, this match was never in question because they booked themselves into a corner,
they
right?
did.
So they had to have Io win, but you could have had Io win other ways. Yeah, a lot of EO fans were not happy about this match, and I don't know if that's because they don't like Liv Morgan or they want EO Miko Satomura and or EO Mayu Iwatani. And look, I will tell those people this. I think there could be a nice balance.
Yeah.
I don't think EO needs to go out there and have 45-minute matches killing herself for 12 bucks. But I also think EO could be the multimillionaire performer that she is and I think it would be better for Liv. I think Liv Morgan actually more than Io Sky needs to have a classic match. Like
Yeah.
I think Liv Morgan needs to go out there and say I am not just a promo. I'm a damn good wrestler, and I've seen Liv Morgan in some great like Liv Morgan as a case is one of the five best tag wrestlers of all time in WWE.
Do,
She's a great tag team wrestler, and I think Liv Morgan's a great like talent. Like I think she has so much to offer, but
I
I
can I
I
can I
need
jump in real quick?
yeah.
I because I just it's I'm gonna put you on the spot. I've God man, our Liv fans that listen are gonna hate this, but just being honest, I think Liv needs a classic match more than any women's wrestler in the world. And let's go through the women we've talked about tonight. Does Liv have any match better than Kendall Gray's best match or Lola Vice's best match or now Maya World's best match?
To me, no. To
No,
me, it does
right.
not.
And I don't think it's a lack of talent. I think she's had some very poorly agented matches. I think she's had some very poorly produced matches. She got men and women's business all the time in her matches, which is not necessarily her fault, but Dominic and we didn't even touch on it, man. They told us that she was losing because freaking Danhausen came out and cursed her, which I hated.
I think
Hated.
I think we're getting Riohausen versus the Judgment Day at some
I
point.
know.
But look,
But so
Danhausen might be the biggest star in wrestling at this point.
yeah, and if you think I'm hating on Liv, I think it's our first 6 months on the air when Liv and Rhea had the SummerSlam match. We did an episode where I spent like an hour talking about how much I like Liv, right? And I really thought she was ascending at that point. I need a great match from her. Great, all-time great.
The easier question is this. And this is really going to not make Liv fans happy. How many women on the active WWE NXT roster do not have a better match than Liv? Like,
Right.
okay, here's the other, what's Liv's best singles match, right? So, okay, I've heard different answers to this. EO Saturday night's main event. I've heard one of the Rhea matches. I've heard multitude of things. So there is no consensus best live match. If you have a resume like EO or Mercedes or Minami Toyota, that's one thing. I don't look at the resumes the same. So let's say, for example, it is the Saturday night's main event match that Liv won. Okay,
That's the
that
one that comes to
Liv's,
mind for me.
huh?
That's
Is
the
that
one that comes to mind
okay?
for
Okay,
me.
so that's
Yeah.
the best match. Okay, so I'm gonna go through the WWE roster here. I'm gonna put you on the spot. Okay, obviously we're not gonna talk about Bailey. Bailey has better matches. We know Charlotte has better matches.
I'm pointing at the poster, and by the way, we are posting the video this week, guys. So
We know Charlotte has better matches. Fair?
yeah.
Becky?
Yep.
Okay. Sol Roca?
Yeah. Are
Yeah,
we
yeah.
only looking at one v one or any
No,
any
I'm
match?
I'm looking 1v1. Yeah.
Uh,
Okay, so
yeah.
your
I don't
hands
know for sure that she does.
okay. Rhea Ripley, that's
Yes.
obvious, right? Io, that's obvious, of course, because
Right. Bianca.
Bianca, Natty, yeah,
Uh,
yes.
can't think of a natty match I like more than that one, but yeah,
Charlotte,
probably.
Natty Charlotte,
I don't know. I don't
no,
know.
Natty Sasha on Raw, where Natty won to win
That
the
was a gauntlet match.
gauntlet match. Okay, here's one. Do you like Alexa Bliss Charlotte Survivor Series more than you like Io Liv?
Yeah, and I also like Alexa Bliss, Great Balls of Fire, Sasha Banks more than I like Liv.
Okay,
Yeah.
so JC Jane, yes, right?
Yeah.
Um, Blake Monroe, of course, right?
Yeah. So
So
yeah,
that's my point. But here's the one that's going to make everybody mad. Io Raquel NXT is better than every Liv Morgan singles match.
it's true. It is true.
And Roxanne, we know it has more. So
I got a fun one for you just to fully piss everyone off, and then we got to get to our top five pretty quick. But we're not doing this to dog live. I would hope that a WWE producer listens to this and they get the hell out of the way because she's more talented than many of the women we've
yeah,
named in the
she's a
ring.
great complete package. She has
So
every
so I got one for you. Is Mela Sasha Banks
yes.
TLC better than yeah, it is, right? It's a really good match. Yeah.
No, I actually think that okay, here's the one. Nia Jax has better matches as a singles wrestler, and
It
so does
does.
Tiffany Stratton, and so does
Yeah.
Jade Cargill, and so does
Yeah.
Chelsea Green, and so does Michin. Like
Uh
Michin Chelsea, that was better. The garbage match?
yeah, I mean it's a plunder match though, but yeah, I get
Yeah.
you.
So where I'm going is Liv is too talented to have to be on these type of lists. Liv should be on the other list. Like Liv should have resume of great matches. And if you can have a great match with Stephanie Vacour, now that one I don't blame her. I think her and Stephanie could have had a great match. I think you give anybody 7 minutes, they can't do much with it. So I just I need I I in my heart of hearts, because of the style of wrestling I prefer, I think Io is the measuring stick, but man, it's hard. Like I seen Mercedes have these two matches, the Hazuki match and the My World match. And I'm like, and so I tweeted this. Io Sky is the reason you will never see Mercedes Moné in the WWE until she goes to the Hall of Fame. That is my prediction. Because if I'm Mercedes Moné, and I'm not saying she thinks Io is better than her. She doesn't. She thinks she's the best, and she should. But if I'm Mercedes Moné and I'm like, everybody's comparing me to Io and Io to me, and that. Well, guess what? I have no restrictions to prove I'm the best. So even if Io is better than me, she has restrictions and she can never ever fully prove she's better than me because she has WWE handcuffs. And why would I want that? Why would I want? And here's my last thing, and we'll get to our top five. You said something 30 minutes ago. You said AEW's roster could compete. I am going to tell you that right now, I enjoy AEW's women's wrestling more than I enjoy WWE women's wrestling because they don't have restrictions. Do I think that Divine Dominion, either of those women are better than Io? No, I would be drug tested. I don't think anybody on the AEW women's roster, maybe Mercedes, is better than Io. However, Maya World's allowed to go have these matches that Io is not having. Same with Athena, same with Mercedes, same with Chris, same with Sheeta. Like Io's just handcuffed.
The
So,
last 5 weeks have been just
so
turbocharged. It's
to
been really
me,
good.
if you're asking me objectively to take the Io rose-colored glasses off, I think WWE has a lot of work to do to win my confidence back that it has the best women. It might have the best women's roster on paper from talent and star power. Because, like, let's be honest here, nobody in AEW, maybe other than Mercedes, is selling out a meet and greet. That's like $300. Like no, there is no bigger star than Rhea Ripley in the AEW roster, including Mercedes. However, and I can make a case EO's now ascended to that level as a star, maybe more, but it doesn't really matter because we're a professional wrestling women's podcast and you got to have the product in the ring. So while EO might sell a lot of merchandise and Rhea sells a lot of merchandise and Liv and Alexa, they got to let these women go out there and have killer matches before I tell you that I think they're currently putting on a better product than AEW because they're not. And that's being truthful and honest. They're just right now, if I were to rank women's wrestling promotions, I would go Stardom, I would go AEW, I would go NXT or NXT AEW can flip, then I would go WWE.
Yeah. I uh an EO fan that I think you follow, so they're on my timeline a lot. I don't think we're mutuals, but someone tweeted, I'm sure you saw it. EO is stuck in the judgment, something along the lines of EO is stuck in the Judgment Day vortex, and Mercedes is out here having bangers with one of her fans. Did you
Mhm.
see that tweet?
Yeah, I saw the
because
tweet and
because
I
I think the non-crazy fans recognize that this is a very healthy women's wrestling elevating competition, right? You want to see them fight duking it out for who's the best.
and Io and Mercedes are doing like a reverse career, which is Io was having the banger killer matches early in her career, came to WWE, kind of got, had those same matches, but she wasn't seen as like a face of the company. And then when she became the face of the company, it's like, yeah, thank you for your service. We'll take it from here. Io, you're too important to us for you to have 50, 30-minute matches that are Joshi. Like the match she had with Utami, I don't even think Triple H knew she was going to have that match, or else he would not have allowed her to have that match.
Right.
I just think that Io, and again, for those who don't think Io was always the queen of the ring, that crown fit her perfect. That crown was like measured to her head. She was going to win this thing from the beginning, and I'm glad that she's getting the booking. I just want them to now allow her to be the best women's wrestler in the world, not just lip service. So, with that being said, I can't believe I'm gonna have to do this and I have to admit something. But yeah, let's get to our top five. So here's what our top five is, and our top five is presented by
Our top five is presented by oldglory.com. Old Glory is your number one source for over 300,000 t-shirts of all of your favorite bands, sports teams, pop culture, and the like, entertainment, officially licensed merch that you can get with the exclusive balance sheet discount BS Women for 15% off on any item at Old Glory. I just got a hoodie and a Detroit Tigers shirt that I thought was pretty cool. In the mail a couple days ago, shipped in like 3 days. So, oldglory.com if you want to find some unique but also officially licensed sports and music merch.
All right. That being said, our top five. It is July 1st. It is officially 50% of 2026 is in the books. So what we are doing is we are going to give you up to July 1st, 2026 from January 1st, 2026, who the five best women's wrestlers have been this year. That's it. We are not taking our personal bias into this. We're just telling you who we think the five best women have been in the ring this year. Okay, with that being said, here is my honorable mention. It's not Io Sky. She didn't even make the cut. It's Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley had a great Rio tag run,
Mhm.
and she had two hellacious, really good matches with Jade Cargill, which nobody thought she could pull off. So Rhea Ripley is an honorable mention. She would be my number sixth wrestler of the year. But my number five, I'm gonna go Athena. Athena is my number five women's wrestler this year. Um, I think Athena's had some killer matches. Siri, the two matches with Siri have been awesome.
Mhm.
She had a hell of a match with Maya World. But again, like everything else with Athena, she only takes me to a certain level. She can't get me any higher than where I am with her, so she's number five.
Yeah, so I if we would have done this a month ago, um I I would have had I jumped right to Athena because I also have her at number five. But I think a month or two ago we said on the show we both had her kind of like in the pole position. It's slowed down recently. I know why she lost to Maya World, but if we're talking about wrestler of the year, and the quality of the match was great, but I do feel like she's kind of slowed down over the last month or two. So I had her at number five. I had Io as my honorable mention. Um, she just won Queen of the Ring. I did take that into consideration. I probably should have taken Rhea's matches against Jade into consideration better, um, because I thought they were really, really good. And maybe I'm not as down. I did really like the Oscar match. I think the Oscar match is better than I have Io as my honorable mention. That's who I had. That's what I'm sticking with. And I have Athena at number five. Um, my number four is Lola Vice. I think Lola's been incredible. Um, I think that the work in AAA has been great. Um, I wanted to see them ride the wave with her on NXT longer than they did. So uh, Lola could drop out of the top five. She could drop out of the top 10 by the end of the year, or she could move up. I need to figure out, I need to see what her role is going forward.
Yeah. So your number five is Athena and your number four is Lola Vice. My number
Mhm.
five is Athena. My number four hat is Kendall Gray. And my number four is Kendall Gray simply because she has been on a heater, but her heater has been with one person.
Hmm.
right? Well, one in it because Kalani too, but like she's had heaters, but she's had it with the same two people. So I have to take a step back and say, well, okay, if you keep wrestling the same person who's also equally talented as you should really have good output. So Kendall Gray has really ascended this year. She's my number four. My number three woman, and the only reason she's this low is because of her inactivity for a lot of 2026, and that's Mercedes Moné. Now, if Mercedes Moné was putting out the Hazuki match and the Maya World match earlier in the year, then she's the clear-cut number one. But she's only number three because of her inactivity for a lot of this year. But I mean, by the end of this year, she could be clear-cut number one if she keeps on this pace. So she's my number three.
This is going to shock everyone. I also have Mercedes at number three. Um, it's a volume issue only. She has already more quality than anybody else. Because I count the Willow match for this year too, right? So the Willow match, the Maya match, and the Hazuki match to me are three of the four or five best matches women have had this year. Literally, she just needs to fill it in with activity, and she's my wrestler of the year. As if she's active the rest of the year, has a good match at All In, like she's got the pole position on number one, but right now she's number three. The women I have in front of her would have to have great matches to match the activity, right? So that makes if that makes sense. I have Kendall at number two. Um, you're probably right. You know, it's just with Kalani and Lola. I really tried to. People think I'm biased against Kendall. I tried to be very fair. If we're looking at the first 6 months of the year, she's been tremendous. Um, and I put her over Lola because I like her Kalani matches more than I like any of Lola's matches without Kendall, right? So that's kind of my tiebreaker on those two.
When Lola won the title, she beat JC Jane and Kendall Gray, right?
Yeah.
When she
Yeah.
beat, okay. And Lola's, okay. So Lola, yeah. So my number two is Lola. And the reason is because Lola has become the face of NXT. And I know it's just, she just lost, but NXT has consistently delivered some of its highest ratings, and that's because of Lola. And Lola has also been like the most consistent NXT women's wrestler this year. From January 1st to current day, she's been consistent. She's always been good. You know, nobody's talking about the match she had with Kalani, the dungeon match or the underground match.
Right.
That was a hell of a match, right? Like nobody talks about the other match she had with Kalani that she lost, where
Yeah.
Kalani made her tap out. So I think Lola Vice is my number two. And the reason Lola Vice is number two is because she's been the face of a brand. And I cannot say that Mercedes has been the face of AEW women's wrestling. I know people are going to be shocked because my number one should be the obvious choice, but it's not. And so my number one is Siri. That's my number one women's wrestler. She's had the best matches this year from January 1st to July 1st. Like she has had the most consistent body of work. Her two matches with Athena, her matches in, all the matches she's had in Stardom. I can't name all of the opponents, but she, to me, has been consistently the best in-ring wrestler in 2026. That's because she's been good from the beginning to July 1st. She didn't have the inactivity Mercedes had. If Mercedes didn't have the inactivity, I'm 100% sure Mercedes would be number one. But because of the inactivity, I have her at three. I have Lola Vice at two because Lola Vice has become a star. And we also forget the AAA work, right? She is not only working in NXT, she's also working in AAA where she's become a big star. So Lola 2, Siri 1, those are my top five. To recap, Siri, Lola, Mercedes, Kendall, and Athena. Those are my five.
No, I 100% I'm not shocked because I have her at number one too. Um the Athena matches, and then for me, the one for her. and I know results aren't necessarily a part of this, like booking, it's quality, but she's got, the what January 4th is when she beats Saya, right?
Mm-hmm.
For
Hmm.
the
For the
um
red belt.
no, for the it's the IWGP,
I
right?
think, yeah.
Or both, well, it was title versus title. So yeah, I have her at number one as well. Um, she has a really great Megan Bayne match, as well. That was at Stardom.
Great.
Yeah,
Great.
that was in April or May. She lost the belt to Alex Windsor, the strong title, um, which was a very good match as well. So multiple matches with Athena, fun Billy Starks match, great Megan Bayne match, Saya, and then a lot of tag work and uh, good match against Chichiro Hashimoto. That's a really good match too. So just way more volume than Mercedes and just several matches on the same shelf. I did mess up though. My other honorable mention, because I had two. I think Tekla, if we were talking just like the full package, she could be
Number
top
one.
three, everything. But this match this weekend with her got her into the honorable mention. I like the Chris matches too. Um, but she's been a very good champion, and it's been a very good championship run. And if she's capable of having matches like the Starlight Kid one, then to me her ceiling goes up.
I think Thekla might be the best character on the women's side in all wrestling. Like, I don't know if there's a better character
Yeah,
than Thekla. Like, she has flushed it out very well. She cuts a great promo. She has a great look. She can wrestle. She can fight. She's an antagonistic heel. She's arrogant. She checks every box. She's, like I said, I'm not talking about in the ring because I know people are going, oh my God, how could you compare the two? She, to me, she has the 95% rule again. She's giving me 95% of 2017 Alexa Bliss on the microphone.
yeah,
And I know Alexa, just the way she delivers a promo is unlike any other, but it's the same concept. Like she just runs everybody down. But that being said, this has been a banner week in the world of women's wrestling. We had a main event women's match, that's NXT. We had what many people believe is the greatest AEW women's match of all time, and a star-making performance by Maya World. Spoiler alert, I heard Dynamite did a terrible job of following this up. That's what the timeline is saying. Mercedes proved once again why, many people believe if she's not like, there's a Jay-Z line where he says, if I'm not better than Big, I'm the closest one. Well, I will flip it and say, Mercedes proved this weekend, if she's not better than Minami, she might be the closest one. And then we also had an amazing Thekla Starlight Kid match. We had great Zarya Tatum Paxley match. We had Divine Dominion. We had a lot of women's wrestling this week. It was a great weekend for women's wrestling. And all I would do is, while we close here, I would implore WWE main roster producers. And I know they listen to this show. Somebody does. Take the shackles off your women.
yeah,
Io, Rhea, Alexa, Charlotte, the Bellas, whoever, take the shackles off, let them wrestle, let them have time, and let them go out there and be as physical as they want to be. Because
yeah.
I heard there's a 3 minute Lanny Reed Page match.
Brie Bella.
Brie Bella. It's awful. Like
Yeah.
I don't even know what to say if you're giving these women 3 minutes. It's frustrating.
My no, you're absolutely right. My closing thought I'll echo. Um, Not just Io taking the shackles off Io, and we didn't really get to talk about it because there were so many great matches, but Lyra Valkyria did turn on Bailey this week.
Yes.
Um, if they were in AEW and this was an angle, they would get a blow off match that had time. So, WWE, this should be a Saturday night main event match or a PLE match or something, and not 11 minutes. Like this should be like a 16 or 17-minute match. If Bailey's gonna put Lyra over and they're gonna move Lyra on, let's at least have a real match about it. This is an 18-month story. But you get worried because of the way the Asuka Kyrie thing went, the way all these things go. So that is the challenge, man. Like, let's lean in and let some of these women just kill it. Lyra's a huge talent. Bailey's as good as anybody is giving someone the catapult, right? So, um, I definitely love to see that, and appreciate everyone listening this week. This is why we do the podcast, man. There's some great women's graps this week. We're gonna go back to posting the video. Um, so if you're listening to this on Thursday, where I'm gonna drop the video on YouTube on Friday, if you guys are interested in watching it. But appreciate everyone coming back, and hell of a week.
All right. See you guys next week.
Thanks, everyone.